So these are the lessons that I learned from friendship breakups. Now, let me tell you guys something. Friendships, having amazing friends in our life that we chose is such a blessing. Having friends to laugh with, to talk with, to eat with, that talk over your goals with is amazing. And I've always been a friendship girl. Like, friendships always meant more to me than my relationships. And obviously because I was younger. And I couldn't figure out for the life of me why I cared so much about friendships. Why was I so strong when it came to my friendships? And for one part, it was genuine and I just cared a lot. But another part, I was talking to my aunt and she was saying that she also took her friendships very seriously. Like, it's one thing to take them serious, like, I love you, I rock with you, you know, we good. And it's another thing to take it serious to the point where it just completely takes you out whenever there's an inconvenience in your friendships, or whenever your friends are not doing things that you want them to do. It's like you completely lose yourself and you wallow and you just be blown all over the place and in distress, can't focus because of these issues with your friend. And what my aunt had revealed to me was that she thinks it comes from her abandonment issues, because she was expecting her friends to fill the void that her parents were supposed to fill. And that hit me because I was abandoned too. So that's just something I wanted to share real quick. So let's just get into it. So number one, the first lesson that I've learned from friendship departures is, if you notice that a friend is mentally checking out, let them go. I was like a huge control freak, and I would see every sign in the book that the friend no longer wanted to be there. And I was just trying to force it and overcompensate and try to make excuses for it. And honestly, once you see that somebody is already mentally checked out, just let them go. Like, just let it go. Don't try to convince them. Oh, everybody, you could talk about it once or twice, but, you know, completely like going overboard, saying it 50 times, it's just not worth it. Some notes, guys. So address things when they happen. Don't bring up things later in an argument, as this could build resentment. So this was a mistake that I had made. I would notice things but not say things until later on. And then I would find myself actually having resentment towards the friend and actually like totaling up the things that I'm saying and wait until years later to say something. So I encourage you to address things when you see them right then and there. Take your time, of course, not from a heated place, but just make sure, like, when you see stuff, you call it out. So that way, when you in the friendship, you not kind of in survival, betrayal, angst mode, trying to just wait for the right move to make. And it's like you in war, you know. So just take the time to address things when they happen. Next one, just because the friend feels good about the relationship doesn't mean you have to. I've had many relationships, and even me being a people pleaser, a lot of the times I held on to bonds because the people liked me, that friend liked me, and I didn't necessarily think, do I even like this friend? Do I even like being here? And am I being treated in the ways that I want to be treated? Do I really vibe with this person? It was just always about how the person viewed me. Because they liked me, I viewed them as a friend, and I liked them too. I didn't think about how I really felt. I value quantity over quantity over quality. So I encourage you, when you make your decisions about departing from a friend, a lot of times we might think, oh, well, they feel good about it, so maybe I'm bugging, maybe I'm overthinking things, maybe I'm feeling a little bit off. But no, if something's bothering you and if you're feeling off and if you're not feeling right in that friendship, that is something to pay attention to. And don't let the fact that the other friend is not feeling any kind of way get in the way of your decision and you doing what's best for you. Being too nice can attract disingenuous bonds. So now this kind of goes back to what I was saying about, just because the friend feels good about the relationship doesn't mean you have to. Because I was basically, even my attachment style was contingent upon the attachment style of the friend I had. So that's also a sign of being codependent. And another thing that I was realizing, your friendships, all your relationships are a reflection of you. So since my friendship, since I was being this nice girl, I was literally, and I was being manipulative, but because it's not the manipulative that a lot of people are familiar with, it's not overt, it wasn't that obvious. But what I was doing was I was overcompensating and trying to be this perfect little patty so people can like me. So what that brought in was manipulators. What that brought in was abusers. What that brought in was a hot, chaotic mess. So I had to learn, I've learned this, like if you notice the same type of patterns in your friendships, like if you keep losing friendships and losing friendships and losing friendships, like I encourage you to check with yourself and check your beliefs, check how you feel, check what your habits, check your patterns. Because I realized if I was going to be this fake nice girl, this nice patty, perfect person that suppressed everything, I was going to keep attracting these type of people. A lot of times we don't want to take accountability for the beliefs that we have. Yes, I can attest to betrayal. I know what betrayal feels like. I know what it's like to lose somebody that you love and let go when you don't want to. But I'm telling you, a self-evaluation is key. How did I play a part in this? Were you ignoring red flags? Were you very distrusting of women? Were you a gossip? Were you mean? Were you condescending? Were you not supportive? Think about how you played a role too. And this just came to my mind because Tony Gaskins taught me this as women, and I want to say this. He talked about was women bashing other women to men. So if you're in a relationship, because women and men are already at odds. So just make sure you're not going to men and even to other women bashing other women. We need each other more than ever. We do not need to be coming for each other. We actually need to be coming together. Is a friend that talks about everybody is a friend to none. Y'all know the saying, a friend to everybody is a friend to none. A friend that talks about everybody is a friend to none. If you got a friend that's a gossip, that is not your friend, okay? That's what a friend says in an argument. I am a true believer that when someone is angry, they're speaking their truth. I do know that sometimes people, when they're angry, they say things they don't mean. And however, what they say is absolutely more, it's more like, it just sounds so harsh because they're angry. But I feel like one lesson I've learned, I remember a friend had said that we got into an argument and I came at her some way, she came at me some way. She basically said, this friendship never mattered to me. And that stunk. So when she said that though, she backed it up. I forgave her and we moved forward. But she backed up what she said. And I ignored it. And I ignored it. And I ignored it. And I ignored it. But I was like, no, what she said was true. That apology she made was not genuine. It was just because of blah, blah, blah. You guys get what I'm saying? So pay attention to what a friend says in a argument. Like really, really pay attention to that. That you feel left out around are not your people. Sometimes we could be overthinking things and we could be in our own little bubble and we could be going through things and a conversation can fix that. But there were times I was left out around people. I would do the absolute most. Like I would do the absolute most, confront them, write these long paragraphs and try to do all that I can to be in their good graces. And what I would realize is like once I got to the place where I was kind of included, I looked around like I'm not one of them. Like I'm not one of them. We not the same. And I did all this for what? So sometimes if you feeling left out a lot, them just not your people. You got to start getting around people that are more like you. I'm also all for being around people that are different than you because that helps stretch and expand your mind. But a lot of the times when you're feeling a little lonely around people or you're feeling frustrated, sometimes that's because you're not actually taking the time to be around like-minded people. Hold on, let me up the brightness a little bit. Okay. So next thing, be present during your interactions with friends. This was a mistake that I made. I remember I had a friend and she was always complaining about how I was always on my phone. Like I was just such an Instagram head, watching my stories over and over while she's talking. I'm scrolling through Instagram, and that was very rude. And what I found too is that the mistakes that we make in friendships could come back and bite us. Because I remember having friends do that to me, and it sucked and I didn't realize it until I detached from my phone. Hold on, y'all. I need to. Oh, do the lighting look bad, y'all? Because I might just keep it off. I didn't realize until I detached from my friends, I detached from my phone how disrespectful that was. So when you're with your friends, make an effort with them. Don't just sit on your phone all day. Really check in with them, listen to them, be active, really make sure you're understanding what they're saying. You're getting out of your head, you're taking the time to be in theirs, and make sure they're doing the same thing for you, because listening effectively is going to build our bonds. When we're just sitting there on Instagram scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, we're not even getting to know each other. So just be mindful of that. Not having any friends is terrible. But not having friends is terrible. I am for the separation before elevation, like Tony Gaskins says, when we have to get ourselves right, or especially after, I remember one time I had cut off like so many friends at a particular time all at once, because I realized these friends are not it. Like, what am I doing? They was all a reflection of my beliefs and the way I felt about myself. But you don't want to go to the other extreme. See, it was like two extremes. It was the extreme of, trying to be around everybody, trying to be at every party, and then the extreme of not having any friends at all because we're hurting. I'm going to ask you this question. If you're in isolation right now, you find it's easy to heal by yourself. It's easy to be at peace by yourself. But there's a difference between I'm cutting off toxic people and I'm doing what's best for me, and I'm cutting off toxic people and I'm actually becoming more of a recluse and actually cutting myself off from the world. So I want you to ask yourself, this is a lesson I had to learn. When you are cutting people off, or when you're kind of, in isolation mode, are you doing this is this genuine, or is this out of fear? Because my life coach certification course taught me that it is easy to be good by yourself, but when you get around people and you learn how to effectively manage your relationships, that makes you a better person. So I just want to put that out there. I am not encouraging solitude. I am not encouraging hating women. I am not encouraging hating men. I am not encouraging bitterness and sorrow and angst. I am encouraging you to learn and be better and grow, and actually, no matter what, to love like you never been hurt. Like they say all the time, no matter how much friendship breakups I've been through, I'm going to continue to make new friends and love like I've never been hurt. That's just what you got to do. You got to be willing to put yourself out there over and over and over again. And of course, get your few people and stick with them. Another thing is, don't stay in bonds out of obligation or longevity. So sometimes we might say, oh, well, you're in this relationship because y'all all hang out together, or y'all go to school together, or y'all take the bus together, or y'all take the train together, or your mom know they mom. And staying in a relationship out of obligation is the worst thing you could do. That is the worst thing you could do, because once you start getting to a place where you don't want to be there anymore, from either toxic behavior they're doing, maybe growing apart, and then you're holding on to it, you have to understand energy speaks. When you don't want to be there anymore, it will speak. So do the work and have the difficult conversation and be real about how you've been feeling. I've had to let go of friends, and when I tell y'all, it was super hard. I did not want to do it. Friendship breakups hurt. You think nobody wakes up and says, I want to let go of all these friends. I want to cut her off. I want to cut him off. I want to cut them off. But I knew, because I had love for them, and I know what it feels like for somebody to string you along. I know what it feels like to go through that and to be on the receiving end of that. So I took it upon myself to speak up and do what I had to do. Y'all, ghosting is childish. Ghosting is childish unless, and I've ghosted before too. I've ghosted and been ghosted. But ghosting, like, I don't know. It's okay maybe with people you don't really know like that. But ghosting is not okay with somebody that you've been friends with, as you had a good connection with. Ghosting is not okay. Be mature and talk that stuff out. Don't just let somebody go like it was nothing. I was on TikTok, and a girl was talking about how she let go of a friend, and she didn't say anything, but she got on TikTok and said the girl know what she doing. And I agree. Some people do know what they doing. But you done ghosted this girl, but you got on TikTok and explained it. Like, that's y'all, we can't do that. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't even realize where they be going wrong. Like, you got to check yourself too. You have to check yourself too. The next thing is, how people do others, they'll do you. I've learned this. I've always been really serious about watching people behavior, because this is really real. Like, you might think, oh, because we best friends, or oh, they will never do that to me. But I'm telling you, if somebody has the capability or the capacity to do something and you don't see it as a big deal because you're close to them, all right now. Another thing I want to talk about, if your friend blasts you on social media, they were never a friend. I've never had no friend do this, but I have friends that this has happened to, and I've seen Twitter fallouts from people I don't even know. And you will have a friend telling all of the friend's business. That was never a friend. I don't care what the friend did, what circumstances was. It is whack to go and tell all your friend business on social media. And I'm telling you, I know some crazy offenses could have probably been made. Like, one was dating the friend crush, so the friend was mad, the friend was hurt. That's understandable. Even under them circumstances, I do not vouch for putting your friend's business on the internet, or going and telling your friend's business after y'all break up, after y'all go through a fallout. You keep your integrity, you wish them well, and you move on with your life. A friend that switch up like that, once y'all fall off, was never a friend. I don't care. Your loyalty stays even when the bond ends. You don't got to follow them on Instagram and support them every step that they do. Like, you still friends with them. But going and telling their business to other people, bashing them to other people, is whack. Y'all handle that stuff in person. Stop going online, arguing with your friends online, your ex-friends online. That is childish. We got people who want to get on social media and talk about how friends is fake. They never want to be friends. But these be the type of people doing this stuff. People who Twitter beef. You don't see the problem with that? You don't see the problem with you going on Twitter, going back and forth with your friend, posting their business? But you want to talk about how you tired of fake friends? Look what you doing. That's another sign. If you notice, when you let go of a friend that go and just throw your name in the mud after y'all break up was never a friend to begin with. Do not stay in a bond because y'all knew each other for so long. Oh, we knew each other for 24 years. Oh, my mother's best friends with her mother. Once you get to a place to where you no longer feeling that y'all growing apart, just let it happen naturally. If you did wrong, let go of the guilt, move on, and be better. We beat ourselves up. Sometimes we were the one that did wrong. We was the one in the Twitter beats. We was the one putting the business out on Twitter. We was the one that showed off in front of other friends. We was the one that left a friend at the club by herself. We was the one that did something wrong. I've never did any of those things, but I've done wrong in my friendships. But I just want to say, if you were the one who did wrong, as long as you recognize it and you learn, move forward, drop your shoulders, stop beating yourself up, and just become a better friend. I had a friendship that I let go of, and I was feeling so much guilt for it, and I couldn't understand why, because at the time when I let go of it, I feel like it was the right decision. And then I kept bouncing back and between it, like, maybe I didn't do it right. Maybe I did make a mistake. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I didn't. But at the time, it felt right. At the time, it felt like what I did was right. And I'm still to this day kind of like confused. But around people because you love them for who they are and not who you want them to be, and not for what they do for you. Be around people because you love them for who they are and not what they do for you. This is so important. Huge lesson, because that played a role. That was why I was a people pleaser. I didn't vet the people that were in my life. I just loved that they were there, giving me the attention, giving me, that quantity was everything, even though the friendships were trash. So what I want to say is, think about every friend that you have. Why are you friends with this person? Is it because of what they do for you? Because they drive you around, they take you to work? Is it because they listen to all your problems? Or is it because you really like them for who they are? Like, don't get me wrong, you could have some convenience in there too. So for example, you might be like, I just love how they're just so carefree. I love how they are free spirited. I love how they set boundaries. I love how they put themselves out there. I love how they're so peaceful. Like, when I come around them, they're just so peaceful. They have good energy. They have a good vibe. And when I need them, they're there. It's okay to have some convenience in there. But if all your reasons are because they listen to all my problems, they take me to work, they do what I ask, they're there when I need them. Like, if those are all your reasons, you got to evaluate that friendship. You got to evaluate your heart too. This is one thing I learned from friendships breakups. Like, I had to evaluate my heart. The next thing I want to talk about is jealousy and envy. This is a touchy topic because I remember before when I talked about jealousy and envy, I used to be so triggered when I talked about it because I've been in a lot of bonds where we were fine, we were like this, and the next thing you know, we would be separate. And I remember before just treating jealousy and envy like the enemy. And now I'm more like understanding of it. I understand it. So jealousy and envy are different, but I do believe that when you have a friend who envies you, jealousy is like you're jealous with 3 people, which is what I have experience with. Let's say you and a friend are close and another friend comes along, you get jealous of that other friend. That's jealousy. Envy is like, I want to be you. Now, let me tell y'all, we're human. We're human. And it's okay to feel the feelings that you feel. But envy is always a sign that the person you envying is what you are capable of being and more. So that's what I always looked at that as whenever I saw that. But let me tell y'all something else. You can't be friends with a person who envy you. I just don't think that that's possible. Because if envy is left unchecked and it's not dealt with, then the person who's feeling it is not doing the work with themselves. Like, you could be there for them, you could try. But if that is left unchecked, I say this in a humblest way, you never know what can happen. You never know what can happen. I've lost people from envy. People I really cared about. And I didn't understand why I was beating myself up. Like, I've made mistakes in my life. Do not get me wrong. But I have been let go of because I chose to be great. And I understand what it's like when you are next to somebody and they're kind of reminding you of your inadequacy. And because I experienced that before, after I was envied in relationships, and because I was envied in my relationships so much, that inspired me to not take it out on that person that I was feeling inadequate with. It actually made me empathize. I was like, oh, this is how people felt around me. This sucks. But I rose up. I didn't take it out on that person. I realized what it was and I checked it. Okay, how could you be better? How could you do better? Don't take it out on them. Be better yourself. And I thank God that I was envied, because when I was in a position to envy, I didn't take it. But I'm going to be so straightforward with y'all. If the person doesn't have the mental capacity and the emotional bandwidth to understand where their envy is coming from and do the work, that envy is going to be dangerous. That envy is going to be dangerous. It's going to be very dangerous. I personally, for me, I've had to just let people go. They actually will let me go because of it. They will mentally check out, but I would just physically stamp it. Like, we done. Because this weird acting is on and off behavior is, they hanging out with everybody else but you, excluding you, making you feel like you the problem. Now, if you really did do some things, that's one thing. But envy is a real thing. And when somebody's feeling it, you'll notice they'll be very distant, real cold. Like, they'll exclude you, treat you, be real mean to you, downplay you. And you'll notice they may copy you too. They'll do all them things but copy you. And you'll notice once you let go of things or once they discard you, they'll show their true colors. I've been in some scary situations where I've been envied. And I'm telling you, it's no joke. It hurts. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. It hurts because it really gave me serious imposter syndrome, because I'm like, what am I doing? Why are people just distancing from me? Now, when I was young, I was a hot mess, instigating, starting problems and all that. So yeah, of course, get away from me, because I was terrible. But as I got older and I checked myself and I worked on myself and I knew I wasn't doing nothing to these people, and I just saw that they was acting so weird towards me, I started to know why. I started to see what it was. It was like a pattern. We start off like this. Next thing you know, they start distancing. They getting closer to everybody, but with me, it's a problem. So I just want to share that. Now, I have experience with jealousy where I've been jealous before, where I've had a lot of experience where I've had 2 experiences, maybe 3, 2 or 3, where me and a friend was close, another friend would come along and they would ditch me. I would get jealous then. I would see a side of myself like, oh, how you're a little like territorial. You don't like when somebody's coming in, taking your spot. That sucked. That taught me is the wound that I needed to heal. that rejection wound from the past. When I went through all my friendship experiences and realizing all the things that I went through, like being excluded and exiled, it made sense. But that doesn't make it an excuse. So that's another thing. If you ever been through jealousy in your friendships, and done some things because you were jealous, just check it. Be real with yourself, be real with it, and do what you got to do. You know why you did what you did. So another thing I want to talk about is it takes a while to know people. You really don't know people until you live with them. In my honest opinion, shoot, even then, Tony Gaskins said him and his wife been married for 17 years. And he still don't know his wife. But it takes time to really know somebody. I mean, know somebody really in and out. And I've learned that through friendship departure. Everybody is annoying. Tony Gaskins says this too, like, you want to make sure you know what toxicity is and what your emotional boundaries are and abide by them and know when to let things go. Everybody come with their stuff, including me, including you, including me and you. We both annoying. We all got things about us. Like, I know I get on my friends' nerves and my friends get on my nerves. I know my family get on my nerves and I get on their nerves. We all are annoying. So I just want to make sure too, guys, as you moving forward after friendship departures, that you really are being aware of this, understanding that every human you meet gonna get just about get on your nerves, okay? Point I want to touch on, guys, I basically want to talk about your friends' problems not being yours to an extent. So you know when you're very close to somebody, you really love them, this your girl, this your guy, that's your ride or die, y'all, that's your man, y'all real tight, and somebody bothers them, somebody do something to them, heck yes, you're going to step in, heck yes, you're going to defend them, heck yes, you're going to be there for them. But there's times when specifically, let's say your friend is in love, girl or guy, and you may see something that they don't see. And they may be in a very toxic relationship, and they come to you all the time for counsel. They come to you all the time in distress about this relationship. You'll give them advice, and they still go and put themselves in an uncomfortable position or put themselves in harm's way. And then over time, the more they come to you, or you may just give involuntary advice, or unsolitary advice, whatever. And if you would give advice that they didn't ask for or whatever, or they do ask for it and you come at them very harsh and very mean and y'all actually end up separating. I want to say this really quick. You have to remember that your friend's life is not yours. It's similar also to even raising a child and letting your child make their own mistakes, but we just going to stay on friends. But what I'm basically trying to say is once you see that your friend is kind of in a certain mindset, or they're very in love, or they're very they're trapped in something, and no matter what you say or no matter what you do, they're still going to do what they want to do. You got to understand that's their life, and it hurts because you're their friend. I've had friendships and I've watched them literally suffer at the hands of the wrong people, and it would hurt me. And when I would try to help them or be there for them, I get cursed out, or I would address them like, listen, I don't like how you still friends with this person who did da. Like, whoa, like, first of all, this is my life. Like, what you so worried about what I'm doing for? And see, they had a point. And I did too. And that's why I had to learn, like, okay, I could be there for you, but I got to let you flap your wings. I got to let you learn on your own. I'm not your parent. I'm not here to mother you or baby you. So it's just about having that fine balance of knowing that, okay, I'm going to be there for my friend, somebody diss my friend, somebody disrespect my friend, somebody do something to my friend, heck yeah, I'm stepping in. This is my girl. This is my man's, like, in guy context. But if you see your friend trapped in a certain mindset or trapped in an ideology that's destructive to them, and you see that they're being manipulated and they're not going down the right path. And as much as this hurts me to say, sometimes you got to just let them fall on their face and learn on their own. So clear this up too. There's certain circumstances, of course, like domestic violence and things like that, where you definitely want to interfere, you want to intervene. I'm not talking about things severe like that. I'm talking about maybe your girl as a friend is in a relationship with a toxic guy. He keep cheating on her. He keep demeaning her and all this other stuff. Or you got a friend that keep being friends with real toxic friends. And it's certain stuff like that. I just want to give y'all examples so y'all really clear on what I'm saying. I'm not saying if your friend getting beat and you just sit there and watch it and let her continue to get beat, or, you know, anything like that. I'm just speaking on circumstances where you just got to let your friends, just like everybody, you got to let them learn and fail forward and learn on their own. Like, you got to have that balance, okay? That's basically what I'm saying. When you try to come in and control and, oh, I don't want you, not, you're not going to see him, no, you're not hanging out with them, or how you going to hang out with them and they doing all this and you constantly doing that, it's like, you're literally taking away from them learning the lesson on their own. As much as painful as it is, it's like I had to learn that. I had to let my friends just make their own mistakes, live their life, and all I could do is just be there as a friend. Unless, like I said, it's something like DV, domestic violence, or anything real, real crazy. The next thing, the last thing, don't be desperate for friendships. I used to be so desperate for friendships. So desperate for friendships to the point where I remember when I was younger, I used to just try so hard to fit in. And I remember I would do little dumb things and just trying to fit in, desperate for bonds with people in general. When I was in middle school, elementary, middle school, remember, like, nobody, I was a kid, nobody wanted to be friends with, nobody wanted to be around me. And it was because I was just like this desperate little girl trying to be friends with everybody, trying to please everybody, you know, and doing just the dumbest stuff to fit in. And it wasn't until I tapped into my gift, I learned how to Jersey club dance. If you're from Jersey, shout out. If you're from Jersey, make some noise. I learned how to Jersey club dance. And doing that, coming home, doing my homework, doing that, tapping into my abilities. Then when I got to school, I was dancing. When that stuff came on, I became more lax. I became more cool. I became more into myself. Next thing you know, I went from being this girl nobody wanted to be around, to this girl that everybody wanted to be friends with. It was because I cleaned my personality up, I cleaned myself up, and I tapped into myself. Even at that young age, I didn't realize what I was doing. It wasn't to the extremity that it is now of tapping into myself and personal power and personal growth, but it was the same formula. I just backed up, realized what I needed to work on, did a personality enhancement, tapped into a art, tapped into a gift. Next thing you know, I became the most popular girl in school. And I don't say that to brag, but I'm saying that to prove a point. Like, do not be desperate for no friendships. Do not be desperate for no friendships. You are bomb, and tap into that bombness and own it. You know, I just want to give you a few tips. I have a video, and I'll link it down below, on how to have a difficult conversation with people. But if you are thinking about letting go of a friend, it's hard. It's hard. And if you already done it already, I'm proud of you, because I know it wasn't easy. If you've been dumped, I know how that feels too. But I just want to go over something about how I broke up with friends before. So basically what you do is you can have the conversation on the phone, FaceTime, in person, and let the friend know, you know, start off with the things that you're grateful for, things that, maybe the good memories you guys have had and what you really love about them. And then get into the reason why you think ending the friendship is the best thing to do. So, for example, let's say y'all out on lunch. Y'all, y'all out for lunch. And you say, hey, she sit down, you sit down. Hey, how are you? Okay, good. Well, why you got me here, girl? Well, I just wanted to talk to you about something, and this is not going to be easy for me at all. But I find that if I stay in this relationship knowing I feel this way, this won't do you or me any good. I appreciate all the times that you were there for me, that I appreciate the laughs that we shared and the ups and downs we went through together. But lately, this friendship has been draining me. I haven't been feeling like this friendship is a healthy place for me to be in. I've been feeling like I've been telling you the same things over and over. You're becoming a new person. You're taking on behaviors that I don't want to partake in. You're forcing me to do things I don't really want to do. You're following a new crowd that I don't really want to follow. And I feel like it's detrimental to me and my growth. And I can't control you. And I can't control how you handle it. I can't stop you. So I feel like the best thing to do is to just end the friendship. I can't save you. You have to do what you want to do, and I have to do what I want to do. The friend might be like, well, what are you talking about? Like, why do you feel that? What? The friend might get emotional. Friendship breakups hurt. The friend might get emotional. And this is what you do. You say, okay, you got to make sure you have examples now. So if you go in there without no examples, you in trouble because you're just going to sound like you making up stuff. So, okay, I'm speaking off the top of my head. Remember that time we went to the beach and you got extremely wasted and you were trying to get me to get super drunk and take some drugs that I didn't want to take and go swimming in the beach, in the water at night? Remember that time we was around your new friend and you were showing off and you left me at the club and ran away with your friend? The time when I was sick and I had period cramps and you knew it and you called me and said that you forced me, you kept asking me to come give you a ride when you knew I had bad period cramps and I was in pain, and you called me a dumb bee on the phone with your friend. These are examples, but I'm saying this to say, like, y'all, when you plan on departing from somebody, you have to, you got to come in there with some examples and you got to know what you're talking about, because if you don't have no reasons, it's just going to sound stupid. So just make sure you really know what you're talking about. Take the time, write it out, write a letter, do a voice audio first, get everything out, get your feelings together. And once you get those out, the friend may apologize, the friend may, or whatever. And make sure you have talked about this with the friend before too. Because if you just come out the woodworks with a departure, that's a little unfair. Unless the offense was extreme. Like they did something that's just like, bro, this is too much. But other than that, please make sure you did actually have conversations with the friend before about the same thing. And then, you know, it might be a little awkward. The friend might be hurt and you might feel uncomfortable because it's just this awkward silence and you don't know what to do about it. And you're going to be like, listen, this is just best for me to do. I wish you the absolute best. And I know you're going to do great in life. And I want you to know I did this because I love and respect you. I didn't do it because I hated you. I cannot be in a bond with somebody that I don't feel comfortable and safe with. So if it's in person, it's going to be a little awkward. The friend might cry, you might cry, but just make sure you end it with peace and love, okay? Thank you so much, guys. It's your girl, Hago. Lessons I learned from friendship departures, plus how to let go of a friend. I hope this helped you. I'm signing out. Peace.